Our top story tonight, some going down in November.
Wars, spending.
There has got to be something big a-brewing.
They're using geese to guard prisons in Brazil.
Does Biden know what
Immigration
Mexico
policies.
is? Would you scare Joe Biden? What are we laughing at?
I think Billy Mays was real.
I'm a world-class skeptic.
I don't know anything about Hunter Biden. I don't know who's big into cocaine and laptops. Why is that our problem?
Complete, absolute incompetence. Like, who funds the news?
It's a freaking inside job, man. The entire world's a stage and everything's fake.
Welcome back to another episode of Touch Me Tuesdays here on the Veritas Road. Carson here with you today with John hanging out in the studio. This week, we're going to be talking about whether or not you want your kid watching porn, playing sports against a tranny, joining the Department of War, or being depopulated by Bill Gates, or maybe getting stabbed on a train somewhere in New York. So not great options for your child. All of these have been in the news recently, not all involving children, obviously. But it has been an interesting couple of weeks out there, and there have been a few things that have just gotten to me over the past little bit. John, you are freaking out, bud. And so we're gonna get right into it here in a second once we can do that. So. All right, you with us, bud?
Yeah, sorry, I realized something was missing and I never connected my microphone.
All right. We're all here. We're all here together. All right. Let's just jump right in, John. So, first off, in California, there's been, for some reason, some debate on whether or not the content law design for age restricting certain websites and the design code for faces versus free speech clash has been raging. And that for me, kind of a dull way to start this out, actually, now that I think about it, but that for me is an odd conversation to have, because while I'm uncomfortable with the government or anyone regulating what you can do online, the idea that 8-year-olds are going out there and watching porn, which is happening all over the country, is severely unsettling. And so what do you do about that? I mean, the obvious solution is to have like a good family unit, right? Mom and dad taking care of the kids, but that's not fucking happening. I mean, mom and dad have been divorced for, if you're 8, probably 6 years now, right? They barely talk to each other. Dad's dating some whore, right, that he met, in car line at school, okay? And she tries to act like your friend, even though she's a raging bitch. She's just dating your dad for his money. And mom is probably dating some abusive, drug-addled guy who beats you when he comes home drunk and is probably giving strange looks to your sister. So the idea that mom and dad are going to be policing what kids are doing on the internet these days is a little bit ridiculous, because the nuclear family's been totally destroyed. And so insofar as I don't want to see the children of this country online watching porn, I like the idea of them not being able to do that. Now, that being said, the government's stepping in and removing any level of freedom, even if it does seem nice on the surface, right? The idea of facial recognition software keeping kids from hanging out on Pornhub with pedophiles seems like a great idea, and it is conceptually. What, John? You look like you had something. Oh, seems like it is conceptually, but at the end of the day, when you hand over that level of freedom to the government, how far are they going to take it? How long is it till they use facial recognition software to dictate not just what you can watch online, but what you can buy, who you can talk to, what you can do, and what happens then when you post a slightly racist comment, just a harmless, slightly racist comment on Twitter, okay? Not a lot racist. Just you don't even spell out the whole N-word, just like 4 letters. Right? What happens when you do that and your face gets flagged, okay? And then the FBI shows up at your door because guess what? You had to age in to be able to make that comment on Twitter. And so it's this domino effect that makes me wildly uncomfortable. And they do this all the time. It's constant with the news and with the government. It's this idea of we're going to usher in this thing, okay? And we're going to make it sound great on the surface. We're going to take care of more people. We're going to make sure kids aren't on the internet looking at things they shouldn't be looking at, right? I think we can all agree, like, there aren't any 12-year-olds that should be watching, big tits MILF gets fucked in the ass. I don't think most parents want their 12-year-old watching that, okay? So we can agree that them not doing that is better than them doing that. But the method through which we're stopping them is what we're talking about here. And giving up any level of freedom, even if it's something as seemingly harmless as you got to show your face to see age-restricted stuff on the internet, seems like a step in the wrong direction, especially in a day and age where our president is hanging out with all these big billionaires, tech guys. He's best buddies with Elon Musk. Peter Thiel's hanging out at the White House. Fucking Bill Gates is hanging out at the White House. Mark Zuckerberg. Like, these are all his tech bros. You think it's just going to stop at, oh, by the way, you look a little young to see that cock today. You think it's going to stop there? It's absolutely not. And so that's what alarms me about this. Love the idea of kids not being able to watch porn, but the idea that the government's going to step in and stop that seems insane. John, do you have any thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much agree with everything you just said. Robert likes to call this when he's here just the Hegelian dialectic. Is like they're creating a problem and then selling you solutions.
Yeah.
And a lot of like what you were saying about like the family unit being broken down, so there's not a structure in place to prevent kids from doing this stuff. Well, that's a direct correlation of what the government and their subsidiary corporations, because that's what they are
Yeah.
doing to people. It's like they're taking numerous actions day after day to break down the family unit, and then they're trying to swoop in and take the place of that, and that's a dangerous game.
Right.
So, yeah, that's kind of all I can say about that. And you can it doesn't take a genius to understand like how this can just be taken a step further. Is like now they're going to go, after like this is, in my opinion, could be a easy like precursor to thought crime.
Right. Yeah. And it sounds good on the surface, right?
Right.
Keep people from seeing things, like keep kids from seeing sex on the internet. Sounds great. But, there's always that but. We're going to introduce it, but.
Yeah. And it's the best way to like sell it to like, the conservative populist right, and they eat this up.
Yeah.
What I would tell all of them is like, do this yourself in your own homes.
Right.
Like that's the best that's the best possible thing. Do it yourself in your own home.
Yeah.
Don't hand this power over to the government.
Yeah, and I mean, you make a good point about like the Hegelian dialectic of them like creating a problem and then giving us the solution. I mean, the porn industry is run by a certain ethnic group as well as the government, right? But then also, like, you're right, they are destroying the nuclear family. And so, like, this whole porn issue is a symptom of a much bigger problem. Like, why do all these guys and girls go into the porn industry in the first place? I don't think most of them had great father figures. I'm not sure. We could try to get, a hold of some of them and check. Like, what are the odds that your uncle touched you and your dad let it happen? Probably pretty high, all right? But the same thing is happening for these kids. Dad's not present in the home. Either that or dad's just, like, doesn't give a fuck, right? Mom is probably either too busy making up for dad's mistakes or too busy out there working her ass off trying to support the family because guess what? Your currency's been devalued to the point that neither mom or dad can spend time at home with the kids, really like teaching them, investing in them, helping those kids grow up to be functional members of society. And so what happens? Little boys, and I mean, this happened to me when I was a kid, little boys who don't feel fulfilled in any other way. Right? Maybe you had a crush on a girl at school. Maybe you just wanted to talk to mom or dad more. You look for fulfillment in other places, whether it's sports, whether it's porn, whatever it happens to be. And this is why we have 15-year-olds walking around who are so addicted to porn they've got ED. 15-year-olds with erectile dysfunction, which I don't know why I think that's funny, but I shouldn't. That's pretty messed up. But 15-year-olds with ED because they've watched so much shit on the internet. They can't get it up. That is sickeningly terrifying. And these are the people who are doing it to your kids.
Yeah. And then it's the people, and they're also wanting to sell you the solution to it.
Yeah.
And you hit on something that's like the biggest thing is like, it's not that like parents are doing a bad job. It's just like they're so like beaten down.
Yeah.
Right? It's like you have so many just normal everyday Americans who are just skating to get by on 2 incomes.
Right.
So it's like they don't have the time to like juggle all of it, juggle a family, juggle, making a living. And it's just like, and it's like it sneaks up on people in a way that they don't notice.
Yeah. And I hate to sound like Murph here, but it does all start with the drastic devaluing of the wealth of the middle class. Good luck building a life for yourself. Good luck finding a way to take care of your kids when you can't. You're too busy trying to live, trying to get by, to invest in the lives of your children.
Yeah, no, I mean, the money is the key component to all of that. And it's like, an economy is how we interact with each other and interact with society. And when that goes to shit,
Yeah.
Communities go to shit.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and the wealth of those communities has been robbed year after year after year. Mom and dad aren't at the house anymore, and so what's little Timmy going to do? He's going to look for some kind of fulfillment somewhere, and it's a symptom of a bigger problem, and more control is never going to fix that. More control will never fix problems like that. More control never fixes that kind of symptom.
Yeah, I mean, the fix to that is fleeing from it. Is you got to flee from that whole, system that's creating these issues, and you have to build the community for yourself.
Yeah. And the idea that people are going to be looking at my, there's going to be facial recognition software when I go online to do something is so just dystopian and creepy. Like, what happens when I want to buy, I don't know, some ammunition or fucking a little bit of butane online or a little bit of thermite, maybe a little bit of thermite paint for the skyscraper near my house? What if I want to do that? I can't now because you're looking at my face. And this is what America is about. Blowing up buildings, flying planes into buildings, buying ammunition, and getting drunk on a Tuesday. That is what America is about. And if I can't do that, I don't want to live in this country. At all. America! Fuck yeah! Sorry. See, I just found this. You would think that this concept would be just so like the idea that we're going to stop, but I found this weirdly disturbing. And that's what this left me with, and that's what I'm going to leave everybody else with. Weirdly disturbing. So, all right, moving on. So I thought I every time I turn off my phone and stop watching the news, I really think we're finished with all the men trying to invade women's spaces. But yet again, some other website that I was on, I can't remember which news website linked me to this story, but they're very excited because some dude in California is playing girls volleyball, and somewhere in one of the articles I read about it, they talked about how much higher he jumped than the rest of the girls, and all I could think of was, of course he jumps higher, he's got a cock! He's probably using that as a fucking pogo stick out there. You want to put a guy out there with a bunch of girls, of course he's going to jump higher. He's got a dick. It's inertia. The dick flies up, so does the rest of the body. It's inertia. I thought we were done with this concept of putting men in women's spaces. And I guess this does kind of get back to the same ordeal with like the corruption of the family.
That's what I was about to say.
Yeah, how many like trans people do you know who have a great relationship with mom and dad and were always like cared for and listened to as children and pushed to be better? How many trans people do you know who had that experience in the home growing up? I'm going to guess none. And what do these people go on and do? Typically, especially in cases like this, where this is a kid, I believe under the age of 18, who's been allowed to go through life-altering surgery, life-altering hormone treatments. And what happens when that poor, sweet, innocent kid turns 23 and thinks, holy shit, I made a mistake? Guess what's never going to be the same? Your cock, for one, if you got it operated on. But two, like, you've wrecked your bone structure, your muscle structure, your brain chemistry, your hormones. Everything has been wrecked. And there's this concept that I think there are some like so-called scientists out there who suggest that this is reversible. Absolute bullshit. You're fucking with people during the critical development years. Not just physically, but also psychologically. People are going through a host of different conflicts at this age, learning who they are, learning how they fit into society, learning how they relate to other people. And to just set them awash in an ocean of hormones and hormone blockers and fucking surgeries, and in a world where some people are like super fake supportive of it because it feels like it makes them better people, and they're gonna virtue signal with you while they jerk off all day long, and then some people are obviously against it because they have brains, and nobody's really supportive of you figuring out what the fuck is going on with you, because either people want to support the fact that you're fucking liberal and we're good because we support you chopping off your dick and just get rid of those balls, they're scary, or you got people who are obviously upset about it and yelling at you and your parents. And so there's really doesn't seem to be like a good healthy way for these people to figure out what the fuck's going on with them. And so I mean, to that end, it probably is a really difficult situation to find yourself in. But at the end of the day, like, haven't we seen enough of these people shooting up schools, for one? Like, isn't that a good enough reason to maybe stop with fucking doing this when these kids are 16, 17, 18? Sorry, I got a little far off on the field there, John. What's going on, bud? How are you? Yeah.
Man and woman gave men and women each their own like unique aspects of and responsibilities.
Yeah.
And it's like the idea to like take that away from like, you know, I mean, they do this to as young as like 8-year-olds. The idea to take that
yeah.
from them is just one of the most evil and reprehensible things that a person can do.
Yeah.
But it's very easy to see why it's happening. It's like it's massive spiritual warfare. Because it's like, what better way to just instill chaos in humanity than to like make them confused and take away like the very identity that God ascribed to them.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, that's a great point. And it interferes with your relationship with the Creator, and that seems to be their goal. What I also find ridiculous about this is I would hazard a guess that a lot of the people who support this are real big proponents of like Darwinism and evolution. This is so anti-natural selection. So very anti-natural select. Let's remove this being's ability to procreate and pass on its genetics, because that's what you're doing when you're performing these operations. That's what's going to happen. And so no matter which way you slice it, it's diametrically opposed to any ideology somebody could espouse other than maybe Satanism. Find another ideology that fits into. I'll fucking wait, folks. Like, let me know. If you can find one other than Satanism, I'm all ears, but that's the only one I can think of. Take a look at a Baphomet. Looks pretty similar to a girl with a cock. or a guy with tits. That's exactly what it looks like. And so there's no ideology where this makes sense, be it like spiritual or like the bullshit like fake spirituality of like atheism and the people who are all like we trust the science. Fauci sucked my cock and I love him. We trust the science. He's my hero. He saved us. I love Fauci. Any way you slice it, this doesn't fit in with any kind of reasonable ideology at all. The only one it fits into is the occult, is Satanism. I don't think there are any other options out there. If there are, please correct me. I'm happy to be wrong. But until then, that's the only place this fits. All right. What do we have? You have anything else to share about that, John?
No, I think you're 100% right. That's kind of the best way to describe it. It's like the only thing that this makes sense in is an ideology of just pure chaos.
Yeah.
That's it.
Absolute. It's like the Joker in whatever Batman movie that was. Just chaos for chaos' sake. To create a world where like beauty and order can't flourish anymore. The same reason all this modern art bullshit's going up that's so simplistic, it robs you of the ability to have hope, to see beauty, to feel good about anything, because all this stuff you're seeing around you, be it trannies or an ugly archway, robs you of even the desire to search for beauty and hope and all the good things people think of. Yeah. Yeah.
What it is, it's injecting what existed before God came and created the earth. Because what's described in Genesis is what the earth was. It was without form and void, and darkness was over the face of the deep.
Yeah.
It's trying to re-inject what was there before God came in and created order and created his natural order. It's just trying to get little components of that in everywhere you look.
Yeah.
That's the goal.
Good point. Yeah. Good point. Speaking of chaos, Trump's creating a lot of chaos on Capitol Hill, and I can't think of anything that sounds more Orwellian than renaming the Pentagon and the Department of Defense as the Department of War. Granted, in 1984, they called it the Ministry of Peace, I believe.
The opposite of Orwellian. They're being straight up fucking honest with you.
I mean, that's a good point. That's a good point. But I don't know why. That's the first thing I thought of when I saw this. Like, I think I was scrolling on Twitter and I saw this come across my feed. It was like Trump rebrands the Pentagon and the Department of Defense as the Department of War. For whatever reason, I don't know why, but the image that came to mind for anybody who hasn't read 1984, they have a Department of Peace, but that Department of Peace is constantly waging wars, constantly lying to the people, saying, hey, we're winning here, we're doing great there, whatever it happens to be. Tell me the Pentagon doesn't do the exact same thing. Tell me our Department of Defense doesn't do the exact same thing. Oh my gosh, we're doing such good work in Ukraine. We're conscripting 60-year-olds and, destroying a lot of people's lives and sending billions and billions of your dollars to a foreign nation and devaluing your currency. But it's good because we're protecting people that we shouldn't have any interest in as far as our country's concerned. It's good. We're doing the same thing with Gaza, okay, where we're sending millions of dollars to the bearded people over there, and it's good because it's good because it's good. It's good because it's good. And if you question it, you're an anti-Semite, and you can go fuck yourself because it's good. So how dare you question it because it's good? It's good. It's good that we're starving babies. It's good that we're blowing up families. It's good that we're raping and pillaging. These are good things because they're good, and don't you dare question them. And have you even been to Israel? Have you even been to Israel, John? Have you committed to going to Israel? Our senators commit to going to Israel, and then they go and they touch a wall, and then they go home and they suck their wife's cock because they're all trannies, but they commit to going to Israel. Have you even committed, bro? You haven't committed. It's just so, it's such a Trump thing to do. Such a I don't know. It's like a magician waving a card in the air to distract you. It's so very Donald Trump. Very Donald Trump. We're going to rebrand the department as the Department of War. It's going to be the greatest department there ever was. The Pentagon's doing a great job raping and pillaging. They're doing a wonderful job. Very good. Very good. Yes, John.
Yeah, I mean, the first thing that kind of came to my mind, this is Trump's always been the guy of, like, he's represented the breaking down of the current order.
Yeah.
And it's almost like they're just saying is like, hey, we're not gonna pretend anymore.
Yeah.
You know, it's like we're just gonna be kind of straight up. This is what it is. This is what it's always been. We don't have to have this Orwellian, kind of.
Department of Defense. We're defending.
Yeah, it's like this is just what it is, and it's almost just more evident that like whatever this current order is going away, and something is coming behind it, and this just seems like a step in that.
Yeah. His presidency has seemed like a weird turning stone in the course of events for whatever reason. And I'm not well versed in like the symbology and numerology of all of it to really understand. But it has seemed like, I don't know, they're not running the same script. The same scenes aren't flashing in front of you anymore. And it's different. It's entertaining. I find the change disturbing. Maybe it's because I'm not comfortable with change, but it is a little unnerving that like the old playbook doesn't seem to be in force anymore. We're just blowing shit up, having the tech bros at the White House and renaming the Pentagon as the Department of War. This is some American shit right there. George Washington, titties and beer. Yeah. Yeah. And didn't he have Pete Hegseth or whatever rename himself as like the Secretary of War? It's just it's so blatant. It's so in your face. Yet, how many boomers do you think are sitting at home on a couch, like raising a Miller Lite and going, hell yeah, Department of War, get America? How many people do you think are doing that? How many people do you think are inadvertently supporting all the atrocities we're committing as we Department of War, fucking America, Department of War.
That's who this is for. This is for the people who own all the shit to get them on board.
Yeah.
It's for the boomers. It is like millennials and Gen Z are the younger generation. They see right through this crap. At least on a surface level, they see right through this crap. But this is primarily for your Fox News loving, granddad or whatever.
58-year-old.
It's for the people who own this
Yeah.
shit to get them on board with whatever this new age that they're trying to usher in. That's the goal.
Right.
It's like the people, our age and younger, they see through it.
Yeah, and I mean, to your point, the younger population is increasingly disillusioned. How much of this do you think is a last desperate ploy from a normie perspective to grab the attention of the normies out there, the boomers out there, and have them kind of reinvest themselves in the system? Because, I mean, people under the age of 40 are so disillusioned with the government, disillusioned with all the wars, disillusioned with all the fake, officials. There's no way that this is working on any of them. So, I mean, what's the point of doing this if not to just try to get one last dying breath of usefulness, quite literally in some cases, out of the folks who eat this shit for breakfast when they get up and, turn on the news every morning, in their retirement, or turn on their news every morning before they go to their fucking accounting or factory job,
Right. I mean, that's all it is. That's all it's there for, because it's like you're not gonna get, you know, you're not gonna get a 25-year-old to get on board with this.
Right.
It's like a 25-year-old probably doesn't even know what fucking CNN is. So, you know, you're 100% not getting them on board. So it's only for the people who are, you know, not trying to get them reinvested, it's just kind of keep them where they're at.
Yeah.
It's keeping them from falling out the way the younger generation is, because it's like the generation that's still invested in this, they hold all the power,
Mm-hmm.
they hold all of the money, they hold all the wealth.
Right.
So it's like they want to keep them docile and in the whole game.
Right. And while we're on this subject, the people who own all the shit are getting older. Does that concern anyone else? Because a lot of them aren't, like, their wealth isn't really getting passed on. It's just slowly disappearing. As they sell their houses, move out to the suburbs, all that money is going to big corporations who buy up all the land. They're selling the family farms. These kids are poorer than they've ever been. What's going to happen when that generation, I mean, they annoy the fuck out of me, but what's going to happen when they're gone and they don't own anything anymore?
Yeah,
That's unnerving.
I don't know. I'm gonna bring this tweet up that I saved. I wasn't going to, but we kind of hit the topic.
Yeah.
So I saved this back a little bit ago, and it's like covering my face. Oh well. But what it says is like Gen Z plans to be financially independent by age 32 without relying on a 9 to 5. It's I can't remember what this journal is, but it's a survey they did, and it's kind of showing you that like the current generation isn't bought into this whole system that, you know, this kind of American dream system
Yeah.
that we have. They're not buying into it at all. So what's going to happen with when the people who are sustaining it at the moment,
Mhm.
die, like
Yeah.
when they die off? It's like it can't sustain itself as is. So something's got to be coming on behind it. They've got to have a plan.
Yeah.
Of what's going to happen in the next 10 years.
Right.
The people who are sustaining it now die off because the generations behind them are not picking it up. So I just kind of thought that was interesting that like so many people who are in their 20s now, they're not bought in on the whole American dream, work your 9 to 5, invest in your 401k, and
Right.
retire by the age you're 60, 65, and feed all of your money into this kind of, you know,
Big machine.
big
Yeah.
machine. That's a good description. It's like they're not bought into this, so it can't sustain itself.
Well, it stopped working for them. Like it seemingly worked for that older generation. You could buy a house, you could buy a car, you could have a life, you could retire and still leave something for your kids. Now, if you work a 9 to 5, you're still going to be paying off your student loan debt when you're 73. You're not going to have a house. You're going to rent because you can't afford to save enough money to buy a house, right? Good luck supporting a family. If that's even something you want, which your psyche's probably been under attack for long enough now, right? Because mom and dad may or may not have gotten divorced, and so you may not even be interested in having a family. And so, I mean, yeah, who knows what's going to happen? It's a giant question mark. You want to talk about chaos? That's going to be chaos. When all these 60, 70, 80-year-olds who held down the damn country for so long, just buying into the system, suddenly aren't here anymore. That's going to be a strange day. Very strange.
Yeah, and you take that with kind of the aspect of like the rise of AI and the rise of
Right.
AI taking over people's, you know, that's probably what the replacement for this is like this technocratic AI state. And now you get to the point, because you said something that I want to hit on, it's like, you know, these people don't want to have families. Well, it's like now you get to the point where you have millions of people who don't have really anything.
Right.
Right, they don't have any type of like structure. They don't have any type of like meaningful work
Yeah.
that they're doing, and it's just like that breeds massive chaos.
Oh, yeah, and even further than that, like people who don't have anything better to live for, because some people are going to hear that, a bunch of people who don't have anything, and they're not going to have anything left to lose, so they're going to be like these loose cannons. I don't think that's going to be true at all. Those people aren't going to have anything to live for. They're not going to have anything tying them to higher ideals, to morals, to anything. Okay? So what's that going to lead to? What's that going to lead to? It's going to lead to nihilism. It's going to lead to depression. It's going to lead to people who, by the time this is all played out, I think it's going to be so easy for big tech, for the government, for the people, for the deep state to grab their hand and lead them whichever way they want to, because there's nothing else. And this is a horribly bleak picture, but there's nothing else to live for. You don't own anything. You don't have anyone. What else are you going to do? That was dark. All right. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but that's kind of what we're staring in the face at the moment.
Yeah.
Like, you got to see it so you can not be deceived by it and run away from it.
And don't forget the depopulation element that's going to be in there, because as this older generation dies off, a lot of these people aren't interested in having kids anymore, even if they can support them. And so all these sons of bitches like Bill Gates are going to be super stoked because the population's going to take a dive. It's going to. It will happen. And that's probably not going to go well. Yeah, it's already starting to. Yeah. Whew, all right, I'm depressed enough now. Let's move on. Okay. Have you seen this story everywhere?
I haven't looked into what it is, so what do you got?
So allegedly, this guy, I'm pretty sure there's video of it. This guy on a train brutally stabbed this girl who's a Ukrainian refugee. I can't remember if they've caught him or not. Okay, he's facing federal charges. All right. So this is obviously very sad. And for those of you who don't handle irreverent things well, I encourage you to turn this off now. This is obviously very sad, but I just want to point out one thing. Is there not a bad photo of this woman anywhere? They've been parading this photo across all of social media, every news outlet I can find, and it's like, I get it, she was hot, okay? And that guy's not, all right? I get it, she's hot. How many people get stabbed every day in Chicago, New York, Charlotte, here in Chattanooga, where there's a ton of violent crime, in Los Angeles? Like, I get it, she's hot. I feel like this is the only reason. She's hot and she's Ukrainian. I feel like those are the only reasons why this is a news story. I'm not saying it's not sad. I'm not saying it's not devastating. I'm not saying it's not horrible, because it is. It's all of those things. But find me another reason why this is making such big news, other than she's hot and she's from Ukraine. Or are we going to publicize all of the stabbings this way? Because that's fine. That's fine. Yeah.
And it's like, I haven't watched the video of this, but I've seen it circulating.
Yeah.
Like over Twitter, and I
Right.
refuse to watch it.
Same. I haven't seen the video at all.
I
Yeah.
think like that is some agenda in this, because Owen Benjamin kind of made this point about the Epstein shit. It's like they're probably just trying to get people to just watch videos of people just doing unspeakable things to children, because it's like when
Oh, geez. Yeah.
see this crap, it's like it messes up your brain. Like,
Yeah.
It has like this massive like negative energy effect. So that's probably part of what this is just seeing some like depraving as shit, and it's like introducing this just negative energy into everybody. But beyond that, I don't really know. Like, I just don't know enough about it.
That's a really good point. I mean, you want to talk about desensitization, right? Flood the media with just horrifying acts. And additionally, like, have you ever heard about like mirror neurons? It's something they talk about a lot in like psych class and gosh, is it kinesiology? Some other class where they talk about doing shit you see other people do. But in the brain, you have these things called mirror neurons. When you watch somebody do something, the same neurons that fire when you watch someone do something also fire when you perform the activity. In other words, when you watch somebody do something and you're focused on it and engaged on it, it's almost like, on some level, I'm not saying they're the same thing, okay? But your brain is to some degree experiencing you doing it as well. And that's really creepy when you talk about it in the context of like some of those videos with children you're talking about, a stabbing, something like that. But, I mean, if you want to make a population a lot more okay with either horrifying acts or just desensitize them to them so they're not as like they're not as morally offended by lesser evil acts, that's a great way to do it. Just expose them to this type of shit day in and day out, and then when somebody pushes in front of the old lady at the supermarket, you're less upset because she didn't get stabbed in the throat. When somebody bitches out, your friend in public, or somebody, acts weird around your kids, you're less protective, you're less offended by it because, well, they didn't get abducted. They didn't get stabbed. They didn't get beat up. And so the boundaries we set around ourselves start to slowly creep in. Until such a point that they're gone would be my guess. I don't know what the fucking point of this is, but I mean, that seems to be, if we're going to take your line of thinking, the logical conclusion of that.
Yeah, I mean, that's actually a really good logical conclusion, because now what I'm thinking about is just like what you described is just tolerating living in a massive city.
Yeah.
Like, that's literally what you described as like tolerate, like just like, very like inconvenient and kind of like behavior that if like you went to like a town with like 2,000 people just would not stand.
Wouldn't go.
But
Yeah.
If you go, like if we go up to fucking Nashville, it's probably fine. Or go to Memphis, it's probably fine.
Sure. You bump somebody on the street, they're like, fuck you, and everybody walks on.
What you described is just like kind of where we tolerate like the degradation of just like how we interact with each other.
Yeah.
So that's a really good point. I've never thought about that, but that makes 100% sense.
Yeah. It's the slow erosion of the morals of society. It's slowly wearing them away.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Again, that doesn't take away from how horrible this is. This is obviously terrible. But it is just representative of the way society's headed. Honestly, that's where it's going. So yeah. Anything else we need to talk about with this?
I don't know. We can't stand for these local judges and local community leaders just standing by and sticking up for the men and actually committing violent crimes against our citizens. I don't know. The aspect of this, like, why is this a federal issue?
Yeah.
Kind of speaks out to me, and it kind of speaks to what we were talking about. It's just like,
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think the reason that this particular one made it so big, two things: Ukrainian and hot. Like, find me another reason. Nobody is parading around photos of fat people getting stabbed. No one cares. They're fat. People don't identify with fat people the same way they do with attractive people. That's an actual, like, look that up. That's real shit. Like, you will identify more with an attractive person than you will with a fat, ugly sumbitch. And it's not your fault, okay? That's just the way we're wired, because attractive people typically we recognize as healthier. But that being said, that's, I think, a large part of the reason why we're using this as opposed to a lot of other occurrences that I'm sure have, gone on across the country.
right.
Yeah. All right. So if you don't mind, John, stop this and or start this at the timestamp I put in the article. So here we have actual footage of Mr. Bill Gates having a conversation with President Trump at the White House, which, again, how creepy is it that Trump is inviting people like Bill Gates into the White House to have dinner? We're talking about a guy who is, allegedly wants to blot out the sun. He says he says the earth is too populated. He wants to depopulate the earth. He's obviously done some fucked up shit to the people of Africa, be it experimenting on them or committing genocide by injecting them with who the hell knows what, right? Does it not make anybody else uncomfortable that he's spending dinner with the president at the White House? That, people, is terrifying. But, here, listen to what he has to say.
Truth Serum, here it is.
Well, I just wanted to apologize for every single fucking version of Windows that sucked, which is basically all of them. Also, sorry for creating viruses just so I can profit from selling you the antivirus software. And on that note, sorry for spreading real viruses by profiting from vaccines. And also sorry for sterilizing so many of you. There's just too many of us, and some of you are not nice. That's why I'm trying to block out the sun. Anyway, I just came here to ask for a pardon from all the Epstein. Thank you.
Actual footage of Bill Gates talking to President Trump. It makes me so incredibly uncomfortable that now, and I've said this on here probably too many times, but the so-called leaders of this country used to do fucked up shit in private and let me pretend things were nice. They used to beat their wives in secret. They used to do things to kids and women and children in secret, okay? Now it's out in the open and it's scary. At least let me go to bed at night pretending things are okay, right? At least put some makeup on that fucking bitch's face to pretend she doesn't have a black eye. It makes me feel a lot better when I see it on TV. Now we've got Trump out there inviting people like Peter Thiel, fucking Bill Gates, Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg into the White House, and you know what all these people are all about. Ushering in a new AI technocracy, okay, taking over your government, eliminating your jobs, and turning you into the fucking Matrix. I mean, find another end game for these people, and while they're at it, oh wait, they're just buying up land and building bunkers somewhere for the end of the fucking world. Tell me it's just something they do. They just like to build bunkers away from people. They just like it. It's just what they do, okay? They're working for the country. They're building AI, which is going to save us. All right? It's terrifying that these people are in the White House with your president. If that doesn't make you wildly uncomfortable, we probably can't be friends. And so why are we having Bill Gates? The only reason Trump should be talking to Bill Gates is to grab him in his pussy, okay? Is to fuck his wife. That's the only reason Trump should be discussing anything with Bill Gates. Trump is the kind of guy who would have bullied Bill Gates in middle school. Why the hell are they buddying up at the White House except for to exchange fun, cool stories from the Epstein days? I mean, I can't think of any reason why those two should be interacting. Whew. All right. Now, John, do you have anything to share about that? You look like you had a thought or two.
Yeah, I mean, just what a massive betrayal this, like, why is this not perceived as a massive betrayal by the MAGA movement?
Yeah.
It's like 5 years ago, they were like, viewing these people as reprehensible, and now
Yeah.
it's like, Trump's just, dining with them. And like, I don't know why people are still like on board with all this crap.
It's crazy. And you're right, the entire MAGA movement basically said, fuck Bill Gates back in 2020, right? During all the stuff that happened, all the lockdowns, all the jab discussions, like everybody, the entire MAGA movement couldn't stand him. And the same thing is true for all these tech bros who are hanging out in Washington now. Jeff Bezos, Peter Thiel. Yet, the savior of the working class is having dinner with the devil, essentially. How are people not more offended by that? How are people not more upset about it? And I thought Bill Gates was out of the game, man. I thought he was just going to give people autism and fucking coat the skies in nanoparticles and be done. What is he doing back at the White House? I thought he was fucking done. So here's let's play the actual interview now, actual comments from him now. I'll put a link in the thing. Let's hear what he actually had to say, because it still wasn't great. Right. Yeah. Contribute to the Patreon. Buy us YouTube Premium. We're tired of ads.
Your leadership there as well.
Thank you. Really, and a really amazing job you've done.
Thank you.
Bill, would you like to say a few words?
Well, I'm in the second phase of my career, giving away all the wonderful money that Satya's good work has helped multiply a lot. But I think the thing that ties my first career that I still spend some time on because AI is so phenomenal, and my second career is innovation, innovating in health in areas like vaccines or gene editing, and the President and I are talking about taking American innovation to the next level to cure and even eradicate some of these diseases. He mentioned polio, which is one that we're close. We don't need new science on that.
Okay,
one.
pause it right there.
For
You want to talk about a phrase that should make you immediately ignore everything a person has to say? We don't need new science on that. What does that fucking mean? We're close, but we don't need any new science on it. We're close, but we're fucking close enough. We're just close. Never mind the fact that polio came from us poisoning people's nervous systems with aluminum and DDT powder back in the 70s and 80s. Never mind the fact that polio disappeared because we changed the definition of what polio was from long-term paralysis, from paralysis that lasts 24 hours to long-term paralysis. So, when people weren't experiencing paralysis that lasted a lifetime, suddenly polio went away. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And who knows what he's injecting a lot of these tribes in Africa with, because that's like his big philanthropy work. We're going to go to Africa and we're going to experiment with all this gene editing shit, all these mRNA jabs on people who don't know any better. And we're going to call it philanthropy. He's a good person.
some like HIV and sickle cell, we do need new science, but the U.S. Has the seeds that in the same way that Warp Speed took those seeds and put them together, I think something fantastic can be done. AI for our foundation is that we want a doctor for everyone in Africa through AI.
That's so creepy. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, that is.
We want an AI doctor for everyone in Africa. In other words, we want to run human experiments on those people, right? And basically turn them into, how racist is that? Basically turn them into slaves. That's what they're doing. That's what he's doing to Africa. Not just a family in a nearby town in fucking Seattle. He's doing it to a continent. A continent. All right.
We want farmers to have incredible advice and, kids to have a chance to learn. So the work being done by the people at this table is changing the world. It's, coming fast, so it's great. We all get together and talk about how the U.S. can lead in this key area and apply it even to the poorest outside the U.S. as well as to our great citizens. So thank you for incredible leadership, including getting this group together.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
Like, why the fuck would anyone want their farmers taking advice from AI on, like, what to put in their food and how to grow their food?
Yeah.
That's freaking terrifying.
Uh-huh. And guess who's buying up as much farmland as he can? Mr. Bill Gates and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Still, she divorced his ass. So whatever foundation he owns, whatever, quote, philanthropic organization he owns, is buying up an outrageous amount of farmland in the name of carbon emissions or some bullshit. It's almost laughable how he shows up to this publicized dinner and says things like that. We're saving people in Africa. We're working on sickle cell. We're helping farmers. We want an AI doctor for everybody. It's And how ironic is it that somebody so evil can pretend to be so like meek and have awkward mannerisms? I wonder what he's actually like behind closed doors. That's gotta be a put on. That can't be real. There's no way that's real. There's no way. If he really actually started Microsoft from the ground up, which I assume can't be true, but even if he did, no meek bitch ass like that is gonna build a company. I'm sorry, it's not happening. It's not happening. He's either an actor or he's a demon or I don't know what, but he's certainly not a guy who's worried about helping you and your loved ones by doing fucking weird mRNA-based gene therapy and injecting you with nanoparticles and spraying the sky so you can't see the sun. I don't think any of those are good things. I don't think anybody wants to open up a box of fucking aluminum for Christmas. That didn't go the way I planned. Anyway, like how disturbing is that? That is so disturbing. All right. So that's all I had as far as articles go. I don't know if we have anything on the Twitter page. We'll take a look. Oh. Every time I think we're done with the Epstein stuff, it just comes right back around. I forgot about this. Yeah.
Folks, it's a terrible, unspeakable evil. He believes that himself. When he first heard the rumor, he kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago. He was an FBI informant to try to take this stuff down. The president knows and has great sympathy for the women who have suffered these unspeakable harms. It's detestable to him. He and I have spoken about this as recently as 24 hours ago.
The only thing that I can say about President Trump is that he is the only person who, in 2009, when I served a lot of subpoenas on a lot of people, or at least gave notice to some pretty connected people that I wanted to talk to them, he is the only person who picked up the phone and said, let's just talk. I'll give you as much time as you want. I'll tell you what you need to know, and was very helpful in the information that he gave, and gave no indication whatsoever that he was involved in anything untoward whatsoever, but had good information that checked out and that helped us, and that we didn't have to take a deposition of him.
That was in 2009?
That was in 2009. I can tell you that I talked to President Trump back in 2009, and several times after that. He didn't think that it was a hoax then. In fact, he helped me. He got on the phone. He told me things that were helping our investigation. Now, our investigation wasn't looking into him, but he was helping us then.
Okay, that first guy, if you had to create like a video of just the most stereotypical politician answer, that's exactly what that sounds like. But that being said, if you're going to concoct a lie, what do? You just say things that sound good and you make them as vague as possible. Trump doesn't like touching kids. It's bad. He thinks atrocities are bad. He gave us good information. Nothing specific. He gave us good information, and good information's good. And when we asked him for good information, guess what he did? He stood up and he very bravely gave us good information. And he thinks the atrocities are bad. That's all these guys said.
Stupidest line. Like, these are the same people who like are claiming like the FBI tried to frame Donald Trump for treason in 2016.
Right.
And he was an informant for that? Like, are you freaking kidding me? That's the story they're going with?
That's the line we're taking now.
That's just completely nonsensical. It's the stupidest thing ever. Like, you've just lost the narrative.
Yes.
If this is what you're resorting to.
Yeah.
Like, just ridiculous.
Yeah. No, I mean, a lot of the stuff they're doing does still seem to be, unfortunately, working to a large. But I mean, I think they've lost the game on all the Epstein shit. Everybody knows it's bullshit now. I haven't spoken to a single person who thinks whatever nonsense narrative Trump and Pam Bondi are trying to push that week makes any sense. They've absolutely lost the people on that one. Completely. Yeah. There's that. Oh, yeah, we talked about this earlier, but this is Tim Dillon talking about Peter Thiel's latest philanthropic work.
Yeah. Yeah, we were talking about that yesterday.
Yeah.
The Palantir thing is very odd.
Well, you know, Peter Thiel's giving a 4-part lecture on the Antichrist. This is like me doing a 4-part lecture on Long Island racism. Just to show everybody, you know, how much I know about it and how scary it is and how we got to watch out for it. But it's totally not me or anyone I know. It's so strange to have this. You build military AI, military drone, autonomous drone technology to export to war zones all over the world. You build domestic surveillance technology to surveil our friends and neighbors. And then your other pet passion is the Antichrist. It's odd. Wouldn't you include tennis? Wouldn't you go, and I'm big into tennis? Something else. It's odd, and I like ice fishing. I build autonomous drone technology. I build domestic surveillance technology.
And I love lake trout.
And I love lake trout, and I love big mouth bass fishing.
Yeah.
But instead, he goes, and I've also developed quite a keen interest in Satan. And I'd love to. That's what bothers people.
Is there even anything to add to that?
No, but there's just so much truth in it.
Yeah.
Like it's hilarious the way he lays it out, but it's just like, how do normal people relate to these fuckers?
Right.
Like they're the most sadistic and creepy people. Like they don't do anything that's normal at all. Like how do people like buy into the fact that they're like philanthropic or they're like
Right.
have their best interest in mind? Is like they're just the sickest people on the face of the earth.
But John, Peter Thiel's a good Christian, and he's going to give a lecture on how to recognize the Antichrist. Never mind, he's going to be describing himself the whole time. Never mind that. Don't turn a blind eye to that. He's good. He's just very interested in the Antichrist. It's not weird. It's not weird. It doesn't get more absurd than this.
Yeah, I mean,
This is the end of the world, late stage capitalism, fucking Armageddon. I don't know, but this is what it is.
yeah.
The head of Palantir surveilling you, killing everyone, and he's giving like
Giving you a biblical lecture on the Antichrist.
but he's a God-fearing Antichrist enthusiast. He's not an expert, he's an enthusiast.
God-fearing gay Antichrist.
Yeah, that's an important piece of the puzzle, too. He's very proud. He's a very proud homosexual.
Holy crap. I didn't throw this in here. You want to talk about it?
I don't even know what that is, so let's move on. Is there anything else we need to go over, John? The giant Adam's apple on the new lady CEO of Cracker Barrel? I mean,
Yeah, I mean, they love John.
whew.
Shout out to Truth Seeker. He spots it.
Adam's apple hunts.
Like off of Wisconsin.
Found a tranny.
This chick is actually a dude.
What a weird passion, but good for him. Good for him.
What I do? Let's end on this.
All right.
I just find this kind of interesting.
Yeah, this is weird.
Like
This is
kinda
weird.
And then we can.
Yeah.
wrap it up.
Sounds good.
Thing in Chicago.
Rewind that to the
which is-
beginning, John. Yeah.
And we're going to have the same thing here. But then I'm going to look at New York in a little while. Let's do this. Let's do this together. Let's see. It's going to go pretty quickly. And if we need to, we're going to do the same thing in Chicago, which is a disaster. We have a mayor there who's totally incompetent. He's an incompetent man. And we have an incompetent governor there. Pritzker's an incompetent. His family threw him out of the business, and he ran for governor. And now I understand he wants to be president. But I noticed he lost a little weight, so maybe he has a chance. You never know what happens. But Pritzker's a gross incompetent guy, thrown out of the family business. But when I look at Chicago and I look at L.A., If we didn't go to L.A. 3 months ago, L.A. would be burning like the part that didn't burn. If he would have allowed the water to come down, which I told him about in my first term, I said, you're going to have problems. Let it come down. We actually sent in our military to have the water come down into L.A. They still didn't want it to come down after the fires. But that was it. We have it coming down. But hopefully L.A. is watching. That mayor also. The city's burning.
So, I've kind of found this interesting, like the Department of War.
Yeah.
Clean up the streets.
Right. Your president is reaching out to the public and letting you know, run your city well, or we'll just do it for you. We'll step in and run your city for you. The mayor there is a gross incompetent. He's not very good. We're going to send our boys in and make sure your city's doing well. It's for the people. It's for you.
But I'll be honest, dude, I don't think there would be that much pushback to it.
No, there absolutely wouldn't be.
These cities, he's not wrong.
Yeah, he is
These
correct.
cities are shitholes.
Yeah.
They're absolute shitholes. And, you know, like the normal people there, I would imagine a lot of them would welcome some overwhelming force to come in and like, hey, get this, you know, meth addict who's taking a dump in a public
Sure.
park out of the public park. It's like,
Right.
I'd like to walk my kids to school without them having to step over just like this drugged out homeless guy
Right.
covered in feces.
Yeah.
And, you know, I wouldn't imagine that there would be as much pushback as people think if he actually did this. And that's kind of a scary reality if the federal government's marching in troops into your cities to, you know, basically take control of them and clean them up, because it's like, what's going to stop them from staying in the city border?
Yeah.
What if they want to come to the suburbs? What if they want to come to, you know, the small rural towns? It's like, it's a scary, you know, proposition. It's like, what if it doesn't, you know, what if it goes beyond that?
Yeah. I think there's a lot of truth in what you're saying, and there's a lot of truth in the idea that whatever entities exist, whether we're talking about our government, whether we're talking about some of the spiritual entities that affect the world we live in, whatever they are, they seem to need our permission to come in and do what they do. Okay? What better way to get you to give them that permission than to make circumstances so uncomfortable you not only give them that permission, but you beg them to come in. Beg them to come in and move the heroin addict who's sitting on your street, who may not be bothering anybody, right? But it's gross, it's disgusting, it makes you uncomfortable. And maybe there is a lot of crime, but the alternative turns in to this Orwellian, authoritarian hellscape that no one wants, but it might be cleaner tomorrow. It might be cleaner a month and a half from now after the government comes in and takes everything over. Don't worry, the guy with a gun on the side of the street, he's just there to keep you safe.
Yeah, dude, it's like it's the hidden clause in the contract, or the hidden clause in the
Yeah.
terms and conditions. It's like you think you're agreeing to one thing, and then you wake up the next morning and it's just like you just sold your soul to somebody or something.
Yeah.
So it's like 100%.
We're seeing that with, I mean, my generation as well. Like, a lot of people my age and younger are so utterly hopeless because we don't feel like we can ever make it out. We don't feel like we can ever own anything. And so what do? We give the government permission to print more money, to bail us out when we need it. And who knows what fresh hell we've ushered in during all the, all the corona dispensements and all the bailouts that have happened over the years. Nobody's quality of life has gone up from that. Certainly not. And, what happens when the currency gets devalued? People commit suicide because they can't afford anything, okay? Because their wife leaves them because of financial trouble. And the same thing's going to happen when you beg the government to come in and clean up your streets. That guy with body armor on the end of the street, guess what? 3 months from now, it's going to be 2 guys just to make sure you're safe. And guess what? 6 months from now, it's going to be a platoon of guys who are there to make sure you don't fucking go 10 miles away from your house because that's your radius because our carbon emissions have been too high and we got to take care of this damn earth. So you better fucking fall into line. That's the direction that'll head if left unchecked. If we give them permission to do so. And people are gonna beg for it if they let them, you know. So yeah, no, I mean I don't think anything good comes from the federal government stepping into really anything. And just it's all about us taking responsibility for who we are, where we are, the people around us, the things we don't feel like we have a damn thing to do with, like the meth addict who's walking up and down your street. Whose street is it on? Yours. Take responsibility for it, and I'm just as bad as anybody. I see a meth addict, I walk the other way. I don't want to engage with somebody who's on crank, okay? But the fact of the matter is, it's in my space, it's in my world. If you believe in anything bigger than yourself, that's part of the scope of your responsibility as a spiritual being. So, yeah, that's creepy as shit. Anything else we need to talk about before we kill this fella? All right. Well, folks, I don't know how many of we had, but thanks for listening tonight. We appreciate it. Hopefully we didn't say hopefully I didn't say anything too disturbing. I probably did. I'm sorry for that. If you enjoyed the show, feel free to check us out on all the socials, YouTube, Twitter, fucking Rumble. We're on Instagram. We don't do much there currently, but we're on there. Also, if you really enjoyed the show and want us to keep doing what we're doing and maybe do a better job of it, we will have a link to our PayPal in the description. And if you want a little bit more of us, we just started up our Patreon. There will be some extended streams there. You'll have access to a Discord chat. And there'll be other stuff coming down the pipe soon. So do feel free to check that out. It is relatively inexpensive. We have our car seat tier available for you to head down the road with us for super cheap. So check that out. And otherwise, thanks for listening. You guys are the best. And have a great night. Thanks for tuning in to Touch Me Tuesdays.